What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the shop. Figured I'd do another video on the Longhorn chassis build. I think this is build video 4 for this segment. Chassis is completely torn down and on the fixture table welding, getting welded out. So we're getting close. Gonna go through a ton of specs and a bunch of detail on the chassis in the next video. Gonna kind of break down all the components, why the chassis is a great platform, how we set things up, and some of the structure involved when we put one of these together. So but anyways, this video I'm just going to run down a little bit of the front axle. I know I did a rear axle video, so wanted to give you guys some insight on what's involved in the front axle. So anyways, here it is. All right, so here's the front axle for the new build, the 2-seater. Just like the rear, we've got F550 inner C's and knuckles, utilizing Mevotex ball joints and Mevotex unit bearing. This particular front axle I did a little different than the rear. It's got our high steer arms, knuckle, it's been milled with the keyway, 6-bolt retention, but we're not going to be doing double shear on this front axle. We're going to be doing single shear, and that's strictly to show you folks that buy our product that you can run our high steer arms that are keyed, 6-bolt retention, 70-75 aluminum in single shear. So what we did here on this one is we've set the bolt up in the location that suited our steering shaft, and we've actually drilled and tapped the arm. That way we can thread the bolt into the arm, and then on the bottom side we will use a nut to keep that bolt from backing out. And a lot of people know in the past, using single shear with a through bolt, bolts would loosen up over time, and this is a way to eliminate that. So whether you have aluminum or steel, this is a great option for you if you have the tools or the know-how to make it happen. So anyways, back to the front. This is our front full hydro ram mount for the Ford SD axle. It starts out as a tube structure. It's bent up and bent in and goes the full width. I believe it's 44 inches from outer tube to outer tube, so I think it fits quite a few 1-ton axles. And then we have a tray down in there, as you can see. See if I can get a better shot. So the mounting clamps for the full hydro ram actually sit behind this piece of steel, and that piece of steel is a tray. It's bent, it's made out of 1/4 inch, and the weld-on plates for the steering caps sit behind that, so it doesn't allow the steering ram to push one way or the other. If it pushes up against that steel, and it's got nowhere to go. Super strong. This one is actually set up for either a 2.5 or a 2 3/4 inch ram. Stroke doesn't matter. And then there's a tube gusset down in there for added strength. And then we've integrated a removable full skid on the bottom. I'm a big fan of weld washer or capture nut washers, whatever you want to call them. And 3/8 bolts go through the front side and get a nut on the back side, and you can grind that whole thing down and pop the bolt out from the back side, and it comes out super easy, even if you grind the heads down. So the last little bit of strength to this front deal is a big one, and it's the reason I feel comfortable running full hydro rams in single shear. And it's because it captures the upper bolt caps at the top, and it doesn't allow the upper bolt caps to spread. So not only do we have the lower weld plates secured in between the lower tray plate, we've got the upper caps secured to another weld-on plate in the front. So the ram can push either direction, and it pushes on the steel and not the bolts. So again, super strong combo. Feel confident that you can run your full hydro rams in with just 2 caps and not need all 4, because everybody knows that's just another added expense. They're, I don't know, 40, 50 bucks a piece, and everything adds up. So anyways, again, this axle is a custom axle that we built, high pinion Ford SD axle. We cut the tubes and added the F550 knuckles and C's, inner C's, for the build. The lower ball joints are, again, same as the rear, 2.5 inches in diameter. They're huge. This section of the C here is about 1 7/8 inches. So it's massive, super strong. And that is the reason that I'm not running ball joint eliminators on this particular axle. So you can take the F550 knuckles or C's, whatever you want to call them. They do come on the Super 60 stuff, and at least the 2-wheel drive ones, you can bolt an F350 unit bearing right to the knuckle and run all regular 1-ton SD shafts and all that good stuff. So other than that, we've gotten a little creative here on this front side. We actually had to make these custom coilover lower brackets because we were packaging 16-inch coilovers up front, and I was real big on keeping the 17-inch belly height with 7 inches of shaft showing at ride height, so that I could use that shaft through the desert and maintain a decent speed and have plenty of travel. So in order to do that, I had to push those shocks down as far as possible, and the inside of the axle was just not an option for clearance for tires and things like that. So anyways, that's what we had to do there, both sides. We achieved exactly what we wanted, and if you haven't checked it out, check us out on Instagram. We've got the new Longhorn chassis flexed out, and the bottom of the tire was at 70 inches, and it felt very stable. So if you haven't checked it out, check it out. Just like the rear up front, we're going to be running the direct drive stub shafts and 40 spline inner shafts with 1550 billet U-joints. And because we're running the 40 spline, obviously the factory oil seals won't work. So we actually use 2 off-the-shelf oil seals that fit right in that location for the 40 spline shafts that we run. So we put 2 seals back to back. They're identically the same thickness as a factory 1-piece seal. So you have, in essence, 4 seal surfaces if you get the dual lip on each side. So if you guys are interested in those part numbers, I can either put a link, or you can get a hold of me on the website or email dffabrication@yahoo.com, and I'd be more than happy to pass that info along. But again, those oil seal part numbers are for the shafts that we run. I know the stub shafts are on the website, and the link bars are on the website, and I'm going to get the 40 spline shafts on there this week. The U-joints are on there as well. So if you haven't checked them out, dffabrication.com, and you can see all those products. And again, you guys got any questions about the build, the way the axle's put up, feel free to comment Give me your thoughts. And this one will obviously be getting the lightweight brake kit that we sell. So front and rear will be getting lightweight brake kits. So coupled with the Hydro Boost setup, the stopping power is going to be phenomenal. So there's the rear. Again, we've done the video on the rear. So if you haven't checked it out, go back and check out the rear steer axle that we've got for the rear of the Bucky. And yeah, stay tuned for the chassis breakdown. Now that it's on the fixture table, getting welded out, I'm going to put together a detailed, and I'll try to make it in 2 segments because it could be pretty long. I just want to give everybody details about how the chassis is put together and why we do things, and why the chassis is a great option for an all-around trail rig, but gets you to the trail quickly. It's comfortable, has room for storage for camping trips, and all those details, and we'll show you why. So thanks for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed, hit subscribe and leave us some comments. Let us know how we're doing, and other content that you guys want to know about. We'd be happy to go over it in the shop. Just let us know. Take care, guys.